He is not good enough. That is what it is. There's nothing else around it. She thinks she's better. She has the biggest ego I have ever seen, and quite frankly, she deserves to be alone. The marriage blow up is real, and it just doesn't stop with Married at First Sight, because finally the couples are figuring out that none of them are compatible, and we are heading for the train wreck of all train wrecks, because right now the experts are in damage control mode, trying to figure out how they can salvage this season so they don't get canceled for another season. But will Emem figure out that Ikechi is not a real poet and just trying to sell books? Will Madison finally accept Allen for who he is, or just think he's goofy? Will Carla stop being petty and actually let Juan be Juan? Will Michelle stop harping on David, or is this a never-ending process? And will Camille finally let Thomas find his swag that she says he doesn't have? All of these questions will be answered at some point, but first, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I appreciate all the support. Thank you so much. Now, David has been a real trooper trying to hang in there and figure out how he can make his relationship work. But is it ever going to be enough? Because the reality of the situation is that Michelle finds fault with everything he does, from his apartment, which he has talked about since day one, but actually said that that's not going to be forever, that was just to save some money, to any beliefs he has, to his success, to how he looks. Everything is a problem for her.
Nah, I've never been suspended. I've never got a speeding ticket. Goody two shoes.
Look at her face. Look. That is the most... She just cannot find a way to actually like something about him. So she is looking clearly for that bad boy. For everything she's had in the past, whatever guy she has had, whatever bad boy she has had, that's what she wants. We will find this as a theme with all of these couples, is that, or with the women specifically, that most of them keep talking about past relationships and that these are not the typical people they will go for. Problem with that is the typical people they have gone for have not worked out, and in most cases it seems like turned out to be not so good guys. Turned out to be fixer-uppers, turned out to be guys that did not treat them right, but yet they continue to act like they want more of that.
I stopped, because I was willing to adapt and compromise.
Yes.
I also don't want David to change everything about himself so I like him.
This is the problem. She talks about everything that is wrong with David, but then she says, I don't want David to change. The two things she mentioned to the experts is the fact that he said he was a smoker, which he embellished a little bit about how much he smoked. I called that out when it happened, but he did say he would quit, and he goes on to say he has not smoked since when he found out that she didn't like it, and also the living situation, both of those. But yet, he says the living situation is not permanent, and he quit smoking, but yet she doesn't want him to change who he is. But relationships are about compromise. If you don't have compromise in a relationship, you are not going to find a way to make it work. It's not about you coming in and being like, this is who I am, love it or leave me. It's about you being like, hey, I have a personality, but we are coming together as one, we are forming a union, and we are going to find our way to make it work and become our own family, our own individuals together. And that means changing. It does not mean changing your core. It doesn't mean any of that. It means coming together and compromising. But yet, she is contradictory in everything she says. She'll say she wants one thing, and then she'll say she wants the other thing. And it's in reality, all boils down to she doesn't want David. And instead of saying that because she thinks she'll look bad, she actually looks worse by going down this road and criticizing everything while saying, but I don't want him to change, though.
You'd said, well, I mean, so long as the goal is for my future husband to move out of the house.
Interesting.
This notion about wanting to buy a house.
Yeah.
How would you feel about if you have a husband who also has that same goal, but like...
Okay, interesting. So they are doing a callback to what kind of the interviews, or what happened in the interviews and what she said. So this is an interesting tactic, but I like it.
Right now, maybe they're living at home to save money for that house.
They asked the question. That's the key here.
Oh, like with their parents?
Uh-huh.
Ooh. We're not spending the night at your parents' house, right?
Okay, jokes about it. Clearly she doesn't like it.
Like, okay, I was doing this because I was single, but now that we're married, let's go get that house, girl.
Well, that's great.
And there it is. There it is. The most disingenuous person on the show. She actually said she will be okay with someone living in the basement as long as there's a goal to get out of. And yet now she says, no, what? It's just not attractive to me. This is why I say they need to have body language experts, or, it's not really an expertise per se, but someone who is good at reading body language in there to be like, right? When they look at her when she's making all these like, these faces and, laughing and pulling away and all this kind of stuff she's doing with the expert, and that person could say, you're lying right now. You're not okay with that. And then they can go from there and be like, are you really okay with it? No, it really, really bothers me. And then they don't hook her up with someone like David, who was just trying to save money. And I have my own disagreements with it and moving back in with your parents, but it's really not as bad as they say. And in reality, he's willing to move out. She is a liar, a bold-faced liar, and now she tries to cover up and save face, and that's all she can do.
I just don't think it's attractive.
Why?
There it is.
Why is that not attractive? Tell me what's not attractive.
Because I have worked my butt off to be where I am, and I wanted someone to was my equal.
He is not good enough. That is what it is. There's nothing else around it. She thinks she's better. She has the biggest ego I've ever seen, and quite frankly, she deserves to be alone. And that is where we're at with her, because the reality is she doesn't think anyone that can't match her success, which, by the way, her success is what she believes is financial. That's it. They go in to talk about what success means, and to David, it means things different. He has jobs, he works, he can afford things, he has a level of success, but because he doesn't make as much money as you think that that is not any kind of success for you. And then you're using the living with his parents as an excuse, because you have no reason to believe that he's going to try to stay with his parents once the show is over and everything. Nope, it's an excuse because you don't believe he's good enough. You are not a good person.
Open doors for me. That's not the case. I just in the beginning it was smothering to me.
So they ask her, because he says something about opening doors and stuff, and it's a little weird for me because she doesn't want that. And she says it's not about that. It was a little smothering. It was smothering that he opened the door for you? So chivalry is not dead with this one, and you want a guy that smacks you in the face and pushes you down in a puddle? That says, hey, too bad, you got to open the door for yourself. Like, man, what is it about her that doesn't want a gentleman, that doesn't want someone that is going to actually show he cares for you in more ways than just financially? Because let me say, the way you look at it financially and the money and everything like that, that does not equal love. That does not equal caring. That does not equal taking care of you in all aspects. It doesn't equal that, but you think it does. Once the money, you have someone that's equal to you making the same amount of money, that fades real fast, and it devolves into not giving a damn about each other, not having a real relationship, and basically just being roommates. And then what? Y'all are just in separate relationships because the money's there, but the actual bold, the core parts of the relationship, the communication, the loving, the caring, the real connection is not there. That's your fault. If that's what you want, you're going to get everything you've gotten, which is being alone for the past 7 years because you had to be Miss Independent and show everyone that you're better than everyone else. Congratulations, you are not a good person.
My success is having a roof over my head.
There you go.
Mental stability.
There you
family, healthy, caring, loving. So that's my definition of success.
Yeah, you know what hers was? Having financial success equal to hers. Him having a roof over your head, loving, caring, having a family. Those are real measures of success. That is what it is. A dollar amount, if you only have a dollar amount as your measure of success, you are destined to not be happy in life. You have to have something else. Dollar amounts do not equal success as a whole, as a well-rounded, successful individual. But she thinks it does, which is why she's destined to not be happy, and which is why she is just bitter. She's got to change something, and you know what? I genuinely feel bad for her, because I think inside, for as cocky and as much of an ego as she has, she's just sad and depressed inside, because that's what it looks like. She looks like she is not a happy person. She's bitter and angry all the time. Her laugh isn't even real. Whenever she, laughs, it's just kind of this fake laugh. She needs to find a real measure of success and real happiness. And maybe that is in a family. Once she were to become a mother or have someone that she can spend her life with or something like that, then maybe she would really have that kind of full purpose. But she doesn't know what that is because she's putting so much on her success. I do feel bad for her. Even though right now she's not a good person, I genuinely have sympathy for her. And something's got to give. But it ain't going to be with this relationship, I'll tell you that.
I need to be more positive about myself. I want a more positive relationship with David.
See, it's all about her. She needs to be more positive about herself. Now, the experts mentioned something along those lines about, not being so hard on yourself, But reality, they're trying to be like, yeah, stop being hard on yourself to make your relationship work. This is where the experts fail. Reality, she needs to stop being so hard on David. Stop criticizing absolutely everything he does and nitpicking everything. Don't bring it back to her. Call her out. But they didn't do that. So now she's doing what she's always done, playing into her ego and saying, yeah, I need to stop being so hard on myself. Poor me. And this is why this is another one of many reasons why it's going to fail.
Oh, simple. It's simple.
Cherry on top.
I have worked very hard for the lifestyle I have. So hearing David mention that my place was simple, just like it rubs me the wrong way.
Yes, because you have a thin-skinned disposition. You cannot take someone criticizing you because you think you are God's gift to the world in whatever field you're in. This is the problem. She's never been knocked down a few notches and had to pick herself up and really been able to learn from it. Instead, if she gets knocked down a few notches, she looks at, why did you do that to me? Why on earth would you do that? So he says, it's simple, it's nice. He didn't mean anything negative by it. He just meant, I like it. It's nothing crazy. I don't see anything crazy, any crazy decorations or anything. It's nice, simple. I think it's done well. And she takes that as, I've worked really hard for this. It's simple. How dare you? And he should probably be like, bye. Divorce now. Experts, don't care where they are, leaving. Bye. That should be the end of it. Of course, this isn't a confession, so he didn't hear that part. But he has had plenty of signs that he should be out on already. Now, Camille and Thomas can't get past a few things as well. Not so much him, right now her. She can't get past the differences in upbringings, which she puts entirely too much emphasis on. And she keeps talking about his swag, which he does not have, according to her.
My husband was rocking 5th place on the swagometer. But now,
so there it is.
Definitely seeing the sneakers, seeing some of his clothes. He's moving up. He is now currently in 4th.
Oh, how nice of you. He was in 5th place because she just thinks he doesn't have swag for, I'm not saying he's the most swagalicious guy or some crap like that, but, 5th place, like 5th place out of 5 is what she means. But he's moving up to 4th because she saw some clothes and some shoes. Good for you, I guess, buddy.
Everywhere and things like that. Let me grab the water pick too.
That's an upgrade in flossing instead of me using the regular and blood's flying everywhere.
So she said that he needs to chill out on the jokes and talk about blood flying everywhere. And then they cut to that and where he says, yeah, it's an upgrade because, when you're using the regular floss and you got blood flying everywhere. Yeah, he was a little descriptive, but you saying he needs to chill out on the jokes? I think you're being a little bit sensitive to that. And he was, of course, very receptive. So good for him for trying to be understanding, but she's being a little much with the whole, I'm trying to nitpick now because I don't think you have swag thing that she's got going on.
Bringing some of the smoothness out versus the corny jokes will help while we're getting to know each other.
Define smoothness.
Yeah, what do you define?
The opposite of talking about flossing and
she was gonna say the opposite of him. You know what I think? Who's a really smooth person you would think? She probably thinks that he should be Idris Elba or something, just walking in and be like, hello, nice to meet you, Camille. And he's just all of a sudden what do you think swag and smoothness is? She's another one that has talked about her negative relationships in the past, but yet she wants him to be like all her negative relationships in the past because she sees that as attractive. This is the problem with so many of these couples. They are not ready for marriage because they cannot change. They cannot truly get to a marriage material and think of it that way. Instead, they're thinking of hookups. They're thinking of what they find attractive in the moment, what they find sexy in the moment. The guys have done it at some levels. The girls are doing it a lot in this season. So this is going to be the problem. If you can't get on that marriage level and kind of see things as a whole instead of just one aspect, then it's going to be a problem. Attractiveness, it matters, but at the same time, you want the attractiveness as a whole. Talking about communication, talking about lifestyle, beliefs, all of these things, not just, hey man, you got swag? Damn, that's someone in a club that comes up and you hook up with or something like that. That's the swag you talking about? Because you're getting a little insane with it.
If you want her in 5-inch heels, even though it's going to break her feet, she's going to wear them.
Yeah.
Did Dr. Pepper, by the way, did Dr. Pepper just make a promise to Thomas that Camille will wear 5-inch heels if that's what he wants? What kind of odd statement is that? That's great. You tell someone what you like. I like it when you wear heels, but to say, she's going to do it. She's just going to do it. you may not want to commit to things like that in their relationship. They may want to work out the kind of things that are okay. Think you overstepped a little bit there, Dr. Pepper, person who lives separately from her spouse and has no business being an expert on here, but I digress. I have gone on tangents on that one numerous times. Now, Juan and Carla continue to try to find their way and figure out what works for them. She is living out of a storage unit, in essence, not really living out of one. Her lease was up before they went in, so she put all her stuff in the storage unit. So they're showing his place, which they may end up moving to, but they have to come to some kind of compromises in how their lifestyle works. But you gotta love his place for a lot of reasons. But one, as a guy, I really gotta appreciate using a drywall cart as a TV stand. You gotta love it. But that's beside the point. You gotta love the little bachelor pad. He also has got the hammock over in the side there, so yeah, I could live there. But the question is, are they going to be able to compromise and come to terms as a couple?
Things and feel like it's my home as well. With
talk about moving into his apartment because she doesn't have one right now.
it still being your home.
I don't know. Whatever it is that you have, I'm sure that some of the things that you have, we'll probably get rid of because we don't need.
So look at that face. Now, what he says is he's basically agreeing that, she can move in her stuff, but also saying that you might be able to get rid of some of your stuff too. She doesn't like that. Now, she was perfectly fine saying, hey, we got to make room for my stuff, but yet when it comes to potentially making room for stuff together, which means she may have to get rid of some things, she is definitely not okay with it. Let's look at that face one more time. Yeah, that's the I'm going to look away before I roll my eyes out of my head face. So this is going to be a problem as soon as they move in, if they make it to that point. Of course, that's after decision day, so we'll see if any of the couples, I'm not confident, but if we're lucky one will make it. I'm not confident, and I don't have one I could even put my finger on right now, but if they do make it, it's going to be a problem.
What I was trying to say is that I was so in this place of ecstasy that it was like the world ceased to exist around.
You are not making it better, Juan. So they're talking about where he said he forgot that Carla was even there because he was spending time with David. Problem is he's trying to explain it like, I didn't mean anything by it. What I meant was I was so incredibly happy in that moment that I forgot Carla. My man, you are literally making it 10 times worse by saying you were so happy without your wife that you just forgot she existed. I disagree with how she handled things and basically making you carry stuff in a trash bag and then giving you the cold shoulder. I think she was being petty and vindictive. But at the same time, this is not the way to convince someone that you didn't mean anything by it. You just basically said, I didn't mean anything by it, but I totally meant something by it because I was more happy without you.
She's very cold, and I can just tell by her face, but she's just holding it in.
Ah.
It beats me up because I'm like, man, if you would just tell me what's wrong, then we could just talk about it,
Yes. Listen. We men, we can be simple creatures. But this is like, Juan, have you ever met a woman? I mean, yes, we can read something's up, but they stare at you for 5 minutes and be like, nothing's wrong. I know something's wrong. Can we talk about it? I don't know what you're talking about. Slowly turn away. I'm like, are you going to kill me in my sleep? Please let me know. Juan, my man. No, but in all seriousness, this is something you got to work out because you have to have communication on both ends. We cannot give the cold shoulder. Sometimes it's not something worth getting into and you're like, look, I'm fine, But if it's something serious, if it's something's really eating you up that's just ruining your day, you have to talk about it. You have to find that communication. And he is putting that out there. And the experts agree on some level with him and, say that basically intentionally withholding, I believe is what Dr. Pepper, the ever so great expert of not living with your spouse, but again, I digress, is saying that it's called intentionally withholding and basically something's wrong, but you're holding back because you're not going to get into it and you're not going to give them that satisfaction of figuring it out. So I get it, yes, but communication, that is the key.
You guys have a great foundation here. I think you have something that's viable. I think your relationship can work. Just don't screw it up.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's like, please, look, this is the face of a man that's like, please don't screw it up because the show will be canceled if you don't. We have not gotten a thing right. Nothing has been right. Please, experts, we're calling ourselves the experts, but we can't get it right. Please, for the love of God, don't screw it up. Pastor Cal, I have a feeling you're going to be out of a job soon, my man. Now, I want the show to stay on forever because it's great. I think it's entertaining. But for a show that's supposed to match people and make them be successful in life and love and all that, yeah, it's just not working out well, and they're not doing a good job. Now, Madison and Allen started out moving into their apartment on a rough, footing because she went out the night of the night of the move-in and your first night in the new place, and she decided to go out and not be with her husband. Not a good first move.
And yeah, I got a text around 12:31.
Good Lord.
Saying, hey, I'm gonna actually go home. That's not what I wanted.
Exactly. You went out, and then at 12:31, you say you're going to go home to your own house, and not at least be like, you don't have to sleep in the same bed. I get it. There are different times where couples aren't comfortable necessarily, and they're like, I just need to kind of ease into it. I get that to an extent, unless you've been sleeping together in the same bed at the honeymoon, which again, then that is kind of weird. But to stay out with your friends all night on the first night in your apartment is odd, to say the least. And it was not right. It was a wrong move on her part.
Nights where I like to spend it with my friends. It's not like it needs to be an every night type of thing. But
Okay. Did you hear what she just said right there? I have a lot of nights I like to spend with my friends, but it doesn't have to be an every night type of thing. No, it doesn't even need to be a most nights type of thing. You are married. That doesn't mean you can't go out with friends, but you are already prioritizing your friends above your husband, just like he should not prioritize his friends above his wife. You can go out and have time with your friends, but you clearly are thinking of it in terms of prioritizing my time with my friends, and maybe you come home and see your husband sometimes. This is setting your marriage up for failure. You are not going to be successful. It is not going to last if you cannot get in the mindset of you are in a marriage, you are a partnership, and you are working on this thing together. And time together is time of growth, is time of communication, is time of making you have this strong foundation for a family and for a future. Instead, you are thinking in terms of drinking and spending time with friends. And of course, she makes the excuse that, well, my friend had a rough time. We just fell asleep on my couch. I'm like, okay, your friends can have rough times. Those are fine. But on the first night you were there and supposed to be in the apartment with your husband, trying to get used to things, yeah, I think you were just making an excuse. You even said we had some drinks, a lot of drinks, joke there. Might have an alcohol problem, but that might be a different problem. Either way, you were not there for your marriage, and that is why your marriage is not going to last.
Love, what would you find romantic? What are the things that you would like to see in him that would further that deeper, more erotic, more intimate part of what a marriage needs to grow?
I think for me, I don't want him to change who he is. And so it's
here we go again. Same old song and dance.
I'm trying to figure out that line. I understand there are things that we both need to change.
Yes, there are things you both need to change, but yet she, again, just like the others, is saying, I don't want him to change who he is. Yes, you do. For one, you do want him to change who he is because you cannot accept that you might have made bad decisions in the past and you might need something different. But change is not a bad thing if you're changing together to basically form around your marriage, your partnership, your family, creating something together. Change is not a problem. And he even echoes that. Allen gets it, but does she? Not so much.
Some concessions or compromise
yes.
or whatever it may be.
Right.
I think that's just a natural part of a healthy relationship.
Yes, that is true. And he gets it. Like I said, he gets it 100%. Her changes would be she wants him in the gym more. She's not attracted to, basically it's, I don't like you because you don't have a six-pack. That's what it boils down to. Even he said, though, I've started to work out more and I've worked out 4 times in the last 3 days. But then he goes on to say, I feel great. Look, I encourage everyone to exercise. Exercise, workout, not even necessarily, the physical, feeling better, confidence, it's all great. It really is. But feeling your mental health improving, feeling just better in general is, it works wonders. It really, really does. So I think that's what he's feeling. But she wants to shape him into this kind of gym bro kind of thing, what she sees because she's in the gym all the time. And that may not be who he is. Can she accept that? Or is she going to never be happy because she has a picture in her mind of what the man she is with should physically look like? And it hasn't worked for her in the past. So will it work now? I think she might need to do a little bit of soul searching. Now, Emem and Ikechi, I think, have one of the most weird kind of relationships because they look more like brother, sister, friends, the way they hang out and spend time together. And he is clearly trying to sell himself as this very internal kind of able to be insightful kind of poet. And he says it over and over and over again. He wants people to know that he is a poet. The problem is he ain't really one. I guess that's in the eye of the beholder. I could call myself a poet, but in reality, if your poetry ain't working and what you've said on the show isn't that great, then I question your poetry. Of course, it's like art. Someone just sold an art, some damn stupid art picture with a banana taped to a wall or something for like millions of dollars. So if someone's willing to pay it, then I guess it's artwork.
No, we haven't really talked about future goals for the marriage. We talked about individual goals, things that we want to accomplish.
This is a problem. Yeah, exactly. Y'all have talked about individual things. Y'all haven't talked about any goals for the marriage. That's a problem. I get it. You're on your honeymoon and things like that, but not once something that y'all want in a relationship has come up. Nothing? Not at all? Y'all did mention kids. That was the one thing, and they do say that there. But having like some real, like where y'all want to be. Would you want to buy a house in a certain amount of time? Financially, where do you want to be? Where do you want to be, with your careers? What kind of things are you looking for? He seems to have his finger in all these pots that he wants to happen. What do you want to do? Because you work at a school, but yet you want to be this poet. You want to do music. You want to do all these things. What is your goal? Do you have a concrete goal set aside for yourself? They haven't talked about any of that and how they're going to accomplish it together. So that's a problem
for the marriage.
What is that?
I'm gonna say this, and it's just like, I guess, the poet in me.
There it is. There it is. It's the poet in him.
I just want to see the art in you.
This guy is a clown. He is a clown show. It's the poet in me. I want to see the creative side of you. My man, I get everything can be creative, but when you have to tell everyone how creative you are and that you're a poet every other time that you do a confessional or talk about something or, whatever you're trying to pitch, you have your family pitching your social media and that you have a book and all these different things. He said he had as a book. All of that stuff comes off as just seeking publicity, just trying to get people to see your work and not trying to make a marriage work. So chill out. Focus on your marriage if you want it to work. Hint, it's not going to work.
All the ingredients are there in order for, more intimacy to happen.
I believe so.
So they talk about intimacy and kind of everything's there for, all the intimacy. They've been holding hands. They ask them, have you kissed? Have you hold hands? Yes. But look at how they're sitting. He is leaning the other way. She is all the way over there. They're not touching each other at all right now, but they make sure to say, yes, we've had intimacy. Yes, we've kissed. I am really surprised that with how much you're trying to sell the intimacy, that you're not sitting closer together on the couch. And he is actively leaning away from you, which says he's not trying to be near you. So what's up with that? How fake is this? How real is this? What is really going on? I guess we'll find out going forward, but this does not scream solid relationship. It screams trying to sell for the cameras. And really, she may be in it for the right reasons. He is not, and that is pretty clear. So we will see how that plays out. I do not have high hopes for them either, but we'll see. Maybe one surprises me. The past and the history of the show says otherwise, but to be determined. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate all the support. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see y'all next time.